So last week I built a circular slider, which was pretty neat, and on scroll or on mouse wheel you could rotate. In this video, I'm going to be showing you something similar, but here we're going to be implementing some math and also scroll trigger. So here, as you can see, we have images shaped kind of like a fan. And now when I scroll, you can see that it kind of moves, which is pretty nice. Now, if I scroll too fast, you'd see the slider also moving too fast. And once it reaches the end, you can't really scroll, but you can scroll up to scroll it in the other direction. So this is what we're going to be building in this video. The source code is in the description. Make sure to download and play with that. So yeah, without a delay, let's get started and let's learn to build this. All right, so here I am in my index.html file wherein I have the boilerplate, I've got the style tag with the styles, and then I've got the CDN for GSAP and scroll trigger. Now to understand the styling, let's first add the HTML. So we need a container to hold the slider. The slider has a bunch of images, so each of the images would be inside of this image div, and then we have the image, and now we're gonna have quite a lot of such images, so I'll just paste them in. Let's save and let's see what we have in the browser. So here, as you can see, we just have a black screen and nothing showing up. The reason for that is in the styling. So let's try to understand the styling. So we just removed the default margin and padding and have set the box sizing as border box. The body has a height of 700 viewport height. The reason for having this height is because we need some height to scroll so that we can trigger the scroll effect. So we just have the height of 7 viewport height. And then the container, which holds the circle, the slider, has a height of 25 viewport height, bottom 0, position fixed, and width as 100%, which means it's somewhere here. And then we have the slider with position absolute, width, and height same as 400 viewport height. Now you may ask, why do we have width and height same as 400 viewport height? Now since this is going to be in a circular shape, we need the width and height to be same. And then we also have a max width and max height of 3000 pixels, just so that it doesn't cross this width. And then we place it at the center, basically aligned horizontally using left 50% and translate x to negative 50%. And then all the different images would now be stacking on top of each other. So we have position absolute, top 0, left 0, width and height, and then some styling to have the glossy look on the card. And then each of the images would have width and height 100% object fit of cover. Now, let me just show you where these elements are. Now, if I were to inspect, if I hover over the container, you'd see the container is at the bottom and the height is around 25 viewport height. And then also the slider is inside here, but then each of the images are somewhere here out of the screen, since the size of the slider is 400 viewport height, or at least 3000 pixels for bigger screens. So we can't really see the images. The way we align the images is in the script. So let's add the script and let's add the JavaScript to have the circles shaped slider. So here we have the script tag wherein first we grab the slider, we grab all the different images and create our slider circle function, which will be responsible for creating the fan shaped slider. So here first we get the radius and the center. Now, the way we get the radius is we have the width of the slider, we just divide it by 2 and then we get the radius. Same is for the center, since the radius and center is same. So there's that. When I say radius and center are same, I don't technically mean that both of them are same, but what I mean is their values would be same, since the center starts basically at half of the width of the circle and same is the size of the radius. And then we have the total images, which means the length of the image. And then we have the angle at which each images is placed. Now here we have 2 times math.pi divided by total. So we have an entire circle and then we divide that by the number of images that we have and we get each individual angle for each individual image. Now you may say that why not instead of this we can have 360 degrees. Well, that's true, but that would give the angle in terms of basically in degrees. So what we want is in radians. So the reason for that is because math.sine and math.cosine take in radians and not the degrees. So there's that. And then we're going to have a for each for the images. And then what we're going to be doing is we grab the actual radian. So that would be I times slice. So it means that let's just say we have 10 images. So 360 degrees times 10 would be 36 degrees. So let's just say that the first angle would be somewhere around 0 degrees. The second one would be at 36. Third one would be at 72. Fourth one as 108, so on and so forth. But what I'm saying is in degrees, but in actual, it will be somewhere in the values of radians. So there's that. And then we calculate the X and Y position of that specific image. So to calculate the X, we have math.sine, and here we pass in the radian, and then we multiply that with radius. Now, why do we multiply it with radius is because math.sine gives us the unit position of x. Now, what does it mean by the unit position? So what we calculate is based on the unit circle, which means the radius would be 1. Since our circle is not of radius 1 pixels, it has a radius value, so we just multiply that with our math.sine. And then since we want this to start from the center, so we add the center here. Same for the y, but then for the y, we're going to be using the cosine. Now, there's one small thing that I need to add here, and that is negative. Now, you may say, why do we have this negative sign? The reason for that is in actual geometry, the positive y is vertically up, but in web, it is inverted. By that, I mean the positive y is down while the negative y is up. So we need the y in negative. So we have x and y position. Now let's use these and set these for each individual image. So for each individual image, we rotate it around, along this angle or this radian value. And then we translate it with x% and y% of negative 50%. And then the x and y value would be the one that we just found out. Now let's call this function and let's see it. So here we can see that we have our slider. Now here, if I just resize this, you'd see that it acts pretty weird and we don't have this slider showing up for smaller screens. So to do that, we have window.addEventListener, and then for each resize, we fire this function again. And now whenever you resize, it recalculates and readjusts. Now it's time for the actual scrolling animation. So for that, all you do is you target the slider, you rotate it by negative 360, ease as none, you have the duration as image.length, and then you have the scroll trigger. You want the animation to start at the very top, you have start at 0, end at max, which means the maximum value that you can scroll to, and then scrub as 1, which means that as you scroll, you align the animation along the scroll, and that's basically it. Now, as you can see, when I scroll, you can see the slider moving. It's pretty nice and it's pretty fun. So the source code will be in the description so you guys can download and play with that. If you're new to the channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and turn the notification bell since every week I bring in cool stuff like these. So yeah, that's it for this video. Meet you guys in the next. Till then, bye bye, take care, and peace.